platforms. So as I was saying, I'm Zach. Started a company called IndieSource about 7 years ago to help fashion entrepreneurs design, develop, manufacture, and scale their businesses. It's been quite a ride. We've developed over 400 brands. I've seen it all, guys. I've seen every aspect of failure, from creating the wrong product, from issues with what you make, from failure of marketing. There's so many different aspects when you're putting a collection together, when you're starting a business, and there's so many ways that you can run into a wall. And so today's conversation is going to be about why brands fail to start. And the reason that I wanted to talk about this is because, even though there are many people that are kind of like getting some momentum, if I just look at the vast majority of people out there, I have a lot of people contacting us. We have a group. I know the Speakers Row group, and overwhelmingly, it just seems like there's this massive bucket of folks who are very serious about starting their collection and very excited to do that, but they haven't started. They haven't gotten going, and so I started asking the question, well, what is up with that? What's going on? Why are they not able to get started? What's preventing them from getting started? And so today I'm going to talk about the three main things that I hear from people in terms of why they do not get started and what to do about that. So hopefully that is helpful. Just as a little quick caveat, I only do this so that I can interact with you guys. So one of the things that I think is really, really important, just to kick this off, is that if you're here, you're probably watching it because you're actively looking for answers to things that you don't have, answers you don't have. And so there's a big difference between passive research and active solution seeking. The big difference between passive research and active solution seeking. I talk to people all the time, and they say, I've been researching this idea. I'm researching the market. I'm researching how to do marketing. I'm researching. I get it. But you want to not live in this world of just consuming content. You want to go into it as if you are a detective and you need to get the answers. And so what I want to set up as a framework for this conversation is that you guys leave this conversation with a new way of thinking, so that you're like, okay, from now on, I'm not just going to research. I'm not just going to look for it passively. I'm going to find the answers that I need, and I'm not going to mess around. I'm not going to waste my time anymore. I want to make sure you guys are in a position of power to do that. So how does that look? How does it actually materialize? Here's one way it materializes. If you're watching this right now, I want to interact with you. I want to know where you're at, where you're stuck, and if you haven't started, why not? What's the reason that you haven't started with your collection and what's preventing you from getting started? If you have started, then obviously there's something that you're stuck on, right? If everything was perfect, you wouldn't be watching this. You'd be just out there just making it rain. So it's all good. But I want this to be about truly gaining the information that you need instead of just consuming content. So if you're on it, the first step that you can take right now is to comment below. And if you have a question, ask. And if nothing else, tell me where you're at. Tell me where you're stuck. Because that's all I care about. I have no desire to do this for entertainment purposes. Some people say I'm okay at that, but I really do want to help. And so tell me where you're at in your journey. If you're 5 years in and you're at a slump, let me know. If you're stuck because of the marketing, let me know. What is preventing you from getting started? Let's be clear with that, and let's figure out what needs to change. Simple as that. What needs to change? And I'm happy to help you with that, okay? I'm an entrepreneur too, right? So I've done it. I've been through it. I have been past the initial stage, and we run an organization right now that does multi-million dollars supporting different people too. So I've been through the things you guys have been through, and I just don't want to waste your time or my time. So if you're, if you're serious about building your collection, getting to the next level, please let me know where you're at and where you're stuck. Thank you, Ao Caso, finding the right manufacturer. Yes, we can definitely talk about that. So anyways, 5 years but not making any money yet. See, this is the kind of stuff. Okay, we got to dig into that. All right, so hit me with some of these questions, and I'm going to go through a little talk right now. And then at the end, I'm gonna speak to these because I want to spend more time on Q&A than I do when me just talking. Last bit of advice: if you're gonna ask me a question, or if you're gonna please be very specific, right? So Treasure Socks, you said manufacturing. What about manufacturing? What exactly is going on? The specificity is so critical when you're trying to figure out what you need to do to overcome a challenge. What specifically is going on? Maybe your manufacturer gave you crappy product. Okay, now we've dialed in that there's this clear issue and we know exactly what we can do to solve it. Let's see if I do want to Embark. If you want to just go ahead and send me the link, I can tag it. I'm on Embark Live. Our team will be on there so that you can book me or talk to the team. Really, this is free. So let's focus on that. Okay, the three reasons that brands do not start. Number one, this was actually flipped when my team and I were writing it, but I wanted to put this first. Overwhelm and burnout. Overwhelm and burnout. So I'm going to read you what I wrote, and then I'm going to just add some caveats to it. So number one, here, I'm just going to read this to you. Okay, you can be the leader. You can be the leader, the visionary, and the boss, but you cannot get everything. It needs to be done successfully and launch your apparel line. You need to know when to hire experts, consultants, skilled professionals. You have to know when to delegate and when to let go of control of certain aspects, to trust others to get it done for you once you have given the instructions and put the work in their hands. You've heard said that this is a marathon and not a sprint, and that means you need to protect your creative energy and time. Know how to delegate and get more done, okay? All right, so here, how do we do that? How do we do that? Oh, nice. Okay, hold on. Let me pin this because they pin comment. Oh, thank you. There we go. All right, so I pinned the comments. You can see it. All right. How do you prevent yourself from getting overwhelmed? Is you find clarity in exactly what things you suck at and what you're very good at. You just have to be honest. So step number one, you make a list of the things that you suck at, and you have to be honest with yourself. Best advice I could ever give you is you want to ask somebody that you trust and you love to help you with this, because they'll be honest. Sometimes we think we're good at things we're not very good at. So don't take it personally. Get real information from them. You want to create a list of things you're not so good at. Create a list of the things that you're really good at. Maybe you did go to fashion school, and so you actually have the ability to source fabrics. You actually have the ability to make patterns, to do samples. That's going to reduce your development costs, obviously, and that's great. So now you save some money there. Use that, invisible money that you just saved to invest in the marketing team that's going to help with your distribution and getting the word out about what you're selling, okay? Having these lists is critical. Maybe it's the opposite. Maybe you're really, really great at sales, and you can go door to door, pounding on the doors, talking to nowadays different online boutiques, or setting up partnerships with influencers. I mean, all the different things you could do as a great salesperson. There are many, many, many things, but you're not going to run around trying to learn how to sell. It doesn't make sense. Why would you try to figure out how to source fabric when you've never done that before? Why would you try to figure out how to make patterns? I mean, these things don't make any sense. This is stuff that people spend years and years and years, like decades of their lives doing. Ways that I kind of compare it to, it's like people, I like to compare it to like building a home. So, for example, if you have never built a house before, it doesn't make sense and just start laying cement. You're like, okay, I got to find a contractor. I got to find somebody who really knows this stuff inside and out and is going to build me the perfect house. Now, this is even better than a house because oftentimes the house is, unless you're putting people in it, is not a good investment. The whole point here is you're something that will produce money for you down the road. Okay? So get clear on the things that you're very good at. Be honest with yourself about what you're not good at. And the way to prevent burnout and the way to prevent burning out before you start is to get clear of the things you need to delegate. Those things, that list of the things that you're not good at, you have to delegate. What are your options there? Number one, you can have a partner. A lot of people that I have talked to are not great at sales and marketing and really convince other people about the thing that they're doing and how important it is. That is critical. I highly recommend getting a partner that's going to work with you if you don't have that skill. So number one option is you bring somebody into your business and you provide X to them so you can work on it together. I have a business partner. He focused on a different part of the business than me. He is the head of the operation. I run the sales and marketing side. We divide and we conquer. It's important to do it this way so that you're not stepping on each other's toes and you can get more done. Okay, that's an example. There are other things that you can do when you're determining who to hire. Obviously, there are experts, and Embark is a great place to find those. You might look at some of these people and like their hourly rate seems high, but you just have to think about, like, man, well, how many months would this take for me to figure out myself? I don't even know. And part of what I like to talk about is like, I want you to know how many people come into my office literally every single week who have spent months, mostly years, wasting time trying to figure out how to build this house by themselves, by their bare hands. Okay? And so I'm like, this is not like just a story. This is like what I see. I see it. Oh crap. You try to yourself, that all these things happened and you didn't have the support that you needed. So number one is ask for help, get support, and ultimately like find the people that you need to do the things that you're great at. Okay? It'll help prevent burnout. It'll help prevent other issues down the road. Let's see if there's anything else ahead on that. Yeah. Be kind to yourself in the beginning and focus on the matter. That's one of the reasons that a lot of people get burnt out. You got to give yourself the time and space to work on your project. Okay, number two. The second reason why brands don't start is funding. They don't have the money. Okay, so let's talk about that a little bit. Funding, oftentimes what happens with funding is you don't realize the full picture of what you will need to invest in launching the business. Not just the plan for development and production of your product. You need it for web dev, growth marketing, e-commerce, photography, packaging, influencer gifting, promotions, shipping costs. There's a lot of things that you may need to spend money on, right? Overhead, if you have any, a lot of you don't have to have any. Keep it that way. And fulfillment. Okay, from the beginning of your idea all the way to the end when the customer gets it. There's a lot of different things in there that you need money for, to invest in. Fortunately, the apparel business is one of the only businesses in which you can be very profitable quickly if you do the proper planning. Okay, so the first piece of advice I have for this when we're talking about funding is do not go around and ask people, how much is this? How much is this? How much is this? How much is this? Look, you're going to have to pick a certain amount of money that you want to put aside. So pick that number that you're comfortable with. Okay. So maybe say, all right, look, I got 30 grand I'm going to put aside. This is going to go towards the launch of the business. I got to figure it out. Get clear on what that number is up front. So then you can allocate the money in the different areas that you need to. So you're not doing it. And I'm not saying you need to do a big business plan. I never did that. Come on. Just a simple Excel sheet. Breaking down exactly, okay, if I have 30 grand, this is how much is going to go here, bop, bop, bop. You hit all the categories and you actually think through what it's going to take to get the product to your customer. You would be surprised how much this is overlooked. You don't want to be in a position where you spend all your money on manufacturing product, but you have no for marketing. You don't want to spend all your money on marketing and you have no money for product. You want to be able to allocate the money in the right way. Okay, one of the things that I always say to people that contact us is, is it critically important that you are going to be doing custom development? Like, is that very important to you because it's a product that doesn't exist and you have to? Or does it make more sense if you have a tight budget to buy blanks or to resell somebody else's products? I'll give you an example of something that I say often. Let's say somebody comes to me and they have like $5,000. Okay, I'm not going to tend to invest their $5,000 in custom development because then they have no cash left over to produce the product, the inventory that they're going to sell for a margin. So instead, what I would say is, like, if you have not enough money to ultimately get what you need, then you need to kind of either pivot or wait. So here's some example things that have popped up in the past. Number one, you can try drop shipping as a very low cost to entry. Number two, you can buy their products and resell them. You can wait until you have more money. Get clear on how much money you need for the thing that you care about, and then make it happen. There may be cases where it just makes sense to wait until you get that extra 5K. Then you can really launch the different aspects that you need to, and you're going to be sure that you have the budget in those areas. You don't want to run out of money. Fortunately, most of you are not running a business with like a ton of employees, so you don't have to worry about burn rate. it's always best to keep your overhead as low as possible in the beginning, because then you only have to focus on the margin, the cost of goods. How much does this stuff cost and how much profit? And then basically how much money for marketing to acquire that customer. Those are the things you have to focus on. So what are some of the things you need no matter what? You need to have a website. You need to run some ads and get the product promoted. Some of you do have the ability to, connect with other influencers. Some of you are influencers and you have great audiences. Kudos. But trust me, you want to run some ads, especially if you are an influencer, because you are not reaching your whole network by any means. I mean, you're not even coming organically. So you're going to want to actually run ads. It's the most targeted thing you could possibly do, and get in front of the people to get the information that you need. Funding. Okay. You need great photography. You need great photography. The interview I did yesterday on IndieSource's Instagram, I talked to she just talked about, like, man, when she actually invested in good product photography, it changed everything. Spend the money on good product photography, because you are but in a sea of images out in the world, and you have 1 millisecond to capture the attention of people. And if your stuff is not very, very, very attractive, then even if you're in front of the right customer, you've nailed it, you've finally gotten in front of the right person, then you're not going to get them to click. And if you don't get them to click, they're not going to go on your website, and you can't capture their data. Okay, so this is very, 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 very important to have photography that looks good. These are some of the things that are critical. Make sure that on the development side, if you are paying somebody for samples and patterns, that you keep your patterns. If you're paying somebody to make you samples, always ask them, hey, when I'm done, are you going to be able to send me these digital files? You do not want to build a house, none of the intellectual property, none of the walls or the foundation. Get your patterns, make sure you have them, so that if you ever need to go anywhere else, you always have them, and you don't have to play games. So many people are out there playing games with their manufacturer. They can't get their patterns. They don't know where any of their supply chain came from. They're just like stuck. It sucks. And I'm like, God, you need to work with somebody that's going to actually provide you with your patterns and tell you where your fabric vendor is actually located. So that's one of the things that we do at Indie, is we give you everything. Here are your patterns. Here's your supply chain. You have all of it. You're now good to go. You're never going to have to invest in these patterns again, because you own. Critical. Funding, spend money, and make sure that it's worth it. Okay, that's 2. Number 3. Okay, number 3 is just is a little bit more of like planning, and I don't like to use the word research, but you do have to research and understand the target market. Competitive products and brands, financial needs, necessary steps moved through at each stage of brand development, and so many other details that seem trivial can add up to some really setbacks if you're not properly planning. You need a financial plan so you don't run out of money, which we already talked about, and you need to know the steps you will have to go through so that you have proper assets to deliver when needed. Keep brand development moving forward. Proper planning ensures the best use of your time, your money, and resources so that you can launch in the most cost-effective, timely manner. So let me give you guys an example of planning as different things are happening, because this is like what we'll do for some of our brands, right? So in the very beginning, the first thing you got to do is get your product made. The first 2 months of getting your product made is usually what? Sourcing fabrics, making patterns, creating samples, doing fittings, and iterating on that. You're getting your supply chain set up. You're creating your organic blanks collection, your cozy wear at home during COVID stuff, with a great off-tone dye, and you're merchandising it and putting the whole thing together, creating the foundation. That's really important. IndieSource does all of that. If you're interested, hit us up. What else do we do, though? At the same time, while that's happening, while you're doing sourcing, pattern making, sample making, and getting your development set up, you need to be thinking about marketing at the same time. Why? The reason is you do not want to be stuck with inventory and be like, oh yeah, I should have started marketing a couple months ago. You want to plan and at the same simultaneously. Okay? While development's happening, boom, what are we going to do on the marketing side? Number one is visual identity. Basically, what do you want your look like? Tone of voice, social media presence, target audiences, understanding and thinking through who you want to talk to. This is like pulled straight from something that we're doing for some brands. Benchmarking, content styles, and KPIs that we're going to use. We want to make sure that basically we have a kind of like a clarity as to what the way we're going to communicate with people looks like as we start. What does that look like? How we're going to reach them and create a bit of a plan. And that can take some time. So let's say that's the first 2 months simultaneously while we're doing development. Okay, what happens in month 3 and 4? So 3 and 4, now you have like samples are like finishing up. They're wrapping up. They look awesome. You're doing fittings. Hopefully you work with you, get some behind the scenes footage that you can share and start to build your network. But when the samples are being ready, we can start production on the photo shoot. So you have samples finishing up, photo shoot, and content created for your campaigns. Those things are happening simultaneously. And remember, you're focusing on the thing you're not so good at. Or you're not focusing on the thing you're not so good at. You're focused on the area that you do have experience in. Okay? Once we have these materials, we start working on ad designs. We launch teaser campaigns. We build a follower base. And you actually can start running ads on pre-order. You can start promoting products that you have developed and get some incredible data. You can start to pre-sell. You can get emails. You can build excitement and hype around your brand at the same time that you're developing them. It can all happen at once. I'm trying to shrink the amount of time that we're sitting in this place of stagnation and like, oh, what do we do? So that's how we do it. We run these things simultaneously. Okay, so that's months 3 and 4. Now if we move like month 5 and online, now production is done. Okay, well, what's happening when production is done? We're launching, the ads are running, we have our shop, our e-commerce site is all set up at this point. We're focused on growth and performance, so we're actually looking at how many people went from your ads to your website. How many of those people actually bought something? What are the percentage differences? And if we see that we're getting a lot of ads from Facebook, somebody asked Facebook, Instagram, or whatever, no, maybe we're doing another thing to drive traffic. If we're seeing that your website has a lot of people that are going to it, but they're not buying, we know the thing on the website we have to fix. It tells us clearly what has to be fixed. Okay. What else did I want to say here? We're up on the result. And then basically like doing a lot of retargeting. Retargeting, which is like anybody that goes on the website, we're finding them again, showing them new different things, and making sure that they're in our funnel. Okay. So getting this out ahead of time gives us a lane. It gives us a frame of reference as we go through things. And look, obviously things can change. And are things going to go wrong? Of course, things always go wrong. There's no entrepreneur that I've ever talked to that hasn't had total disasters in their career, hasn't run into walls and had to pick themselves up off the ground. So it's not about preventing that from happening. It's just about getting started. And when you have somewhat of an outline for what's going to happen over the next 6 months, it makes it easier because like, oh, that's just what's on the schedule for today. You wake up, you're like, oh yeah, today we're doing a photo shoot. You wake up, oh, okay, today we're gonna get our ads account set up. Today we're gonna do a fitting. We're gonna go to IndieSource. We're gonna do our fitting, and we're gonna try everything on. We're gonna give feedback on the fit of the garments, and then they're gonna adjust what it is that they're making for us. And then while they go and adjust it, we're gonna have that call with the influencer who's gonna promote our stuff during the launch. You guys getting like the flow here that I'm talking about? Creating that bit of just a tentative plan for product creation and marketing distribution. It'll allow you guys to be in a position where you're just crushing it. Okay? Those are the 3 things that I had. I mean, yeah, we're at 26 right now. So I got a few minutes to talk to you guys about anything that you're dealing with. Like make this worth your time. So hit me with some questions. I'm going to scroll through back to the beginning because a bunch of people said some stuff. Hit me with some questions and I'll answer right now. Yeah, but I appreciate you guys, being honest, telling me that you're stuck. That's it's tough. Finding the right manufacturer, totally. That's a very difficult issue. I mean, I gotta obviously promote our company. This is what we do best. 5 years, but not making any money yet. I would be really, really curious how many people you're getting in front of. How many people every day are seeing your product, and what percentage of those people are saying no? And if they're saying no, why are they saying no? These are the kinds of questions you need to be asked. Bodo Mint. These are the kinds of questions. Just started my brand. So Miss Yan Yi said, just started my brand. Mostly stuck at manufacturing and getting funding. What about manufacturing? I guess I'm curious, what about manufacturing are you stuck at? Finding a manufacturer, or you're trying to do manufacturing yourself? I think that'd be helpful for me to know. So let me know, Miss Yanyi, where you're at. All right, Bis for Bella said, funding mainly and developing a clear roadmap. Okay, awesome, Bis. Was that helpful? Give me a little holler if that was helpful and I answered some questions that you had. Marketing your brand via social media. Do not lie to yourself and tell yourself that posting organically is going to get you the amount of actual attention and money that you need. It's just not realistic. So, I mean, that's my main advice for that. Too many people are just doing that. Obviously, look, it can work for some people, but it's just not realistic. Spend targeted dollar amounts in different platforms if you want to test out, see what works best. But let's not kid ourselves here. Okay, FECIT, self-visit. Okay, said how to sell my brand, how to get a buy for boutique or store. Okay, Self, literally, you got to be honest. How many people have you shown your stuff to? And if you haven't shown it to at least 100 people, you haven't gotten enough stats on it. So that's how you got to sell your brand is knock on doors. What's up? A lot of boutiques right now are naturally going to go out of business if they don't put up an online store. So think about this. What a great opportunity you have to contact a bunch of boutiques that are putting websites right now and make sure that you're on their site. You can get them to buy, but in the beginning, you can do drop shipping for these stores. You can do drop shipping for so many different online boutiques. It's one great way to get started. All right, who else? What if you do not have the in-hire help? Yeah, look, realistically, starting a product business takes capital. If you want to be a barber, you just need some scissors. It's a service. If you want to start a clothing line, you need capital. There's not really any way around it. I mentioned a couple of other things you can do. You can do some drop shipping, but to have no capital at all is tricky. You would have to be very, very clever with how you tackle that question. All right. Runway Rocks, thank you. Appreciate the love. All right, who else? What's your advice for raising capital? Look, you're not going to get money from any sort of serious entity if you don't have any sales history. So one of the reasons it's so good to get some sales history, even if you're not profitable, having sales history shows lenders that you're onto something. Yeah. So I mean, it's worth generating revenue just so you can be in a position to get more cash. What's included in the tech package? Tech pack has your bill of materials, your pattern cards, your costing sheets. The tech pack is the digital representation of your garment, each garment that you have. Oh crap! I just realized I put you guys down here. I'm so sorry. All right, I'm being a noob here with the cameras. Okay, your tech pack is your visual representation of every aspect of a garment, and that's going to be the thing that ultimately you keep and never changes. It's the language that tells the manufacturer exactly what you want to make. Okay, cool. That's that. I'll say, but I should ask my manufacturer for my handbag patterns. Yes, always ask your manufacturer for your patterns. How much should we allocate for marketing? Look, that question is always going to differ. It depends on the market that you're serving. It depends on who they are. As much as possible. As much as possible. All right, who do we got? All right, we got Yasin Nice. Man, you guys got some difficult to pronounce names here. A few years in, but I'm sitting still. Feel like I need nice content to keep social flowing. Yeah, you need nice content, but I want to know, where are you stuck actually? Like, what's actually going on? What thing is preventing you from getting to the next level? The wall. How much expect to spend on a photo shoot? Isabel, my girl, what's up? I've seen really kind of crazy ranges. Out there, you can, you know, I've seen like anywhere from like maybe like 1,000 to like 5,000. It really depends on how many styles you have. We put together a package at Indie because I'm trying to like make things simpler for entrepreneurs, where it's like you get the photo studio, you get the photographer, you get the edits, you get everything except the models for $300 an hour. And then depending on how many styles you have, that'll be more or less time. So that's what we created. But I think from what I've seen, there is a pretty big range. All right, Katie Pierce, trying to set up a small production team of seamstress and production sewers, but I don't know anything about manufacturing, which machines I need, how many for each sewer. I would ask, why are you trying to set up a production team of seamstresses? That's not to say you can't do it. You need a lead. You need somebody who has experience running a sewing floor, Katie. So it's a perfect example of what I mentioned in the beginning. If you have no experience doing that, don't just try to do it by yourself. It doesn't make sense, especially if you're planning on hiring a bunch of sewers. They need somebody that's going to tell them what they're measured based on. What are the metrics for them to be successful? If you don't do that, you're going to waste a ton of money, and you're going to spend a lot. Yeah, you're just going to spend too much money on like creating products that are going to be too expensive because they're not trained properly. So find a leader that you can roll in your vision and get them to be the ones to tell the other sewers that are part of your team. Drop shippers are active. We're actually don't. I'm like not in the drop shipping world, to be honest. I'm too obsessed with custom, and we like to make everything that we sell. So I don't really have a good reference for that. What's a good minimum to start out with a t-shirt brand? Our minimum at Indie is 300 units per style. We break that down in as many sizes as you want, pretty much, and then different colors. So the way that I look at that is 300 is enough so that the price actually isn't so low enough so you can get a margin, but it's not so high that it's too many that you can't sell them. If you break 300 across sizes and a few colors, usually you end up between around 20 and 30 per SKU, and you want to have you want to have some real inventory. So that's what I believe. You don't want to just make 20 units and then you have one of each SKU. What happens when you sell that one out? You got 6 more weeks to develop to produce. Don't get into that. At least make a decision to build what you want to create, and then from there, if you don't sell through everything at the same rate, then you produce less of one, or you completely wipe that style and you focus on the big winners. All right, Mini-Me Baby Apparel. My babying business is ready to go, but I need to find the best ways to drive traffic to my website. There we go, baby clothing. Okay. Well, look, you got to always start with the customer. So I'm a new dad. I'm an example. So I have a baby. So I think the question, you need to start with getting traffic to your website. Okay, how do you do that? Again, I'll come back to it. The cheapest, most effective way to get traffic to your website is running ads. If you're not, I believe there's a way to target new parents or people with babies in the back end of Facebook. But even if there wasn't, let's just say for a second there was not really good granular targeting on Facebook and Instagram for people who have babies, then what you could do is you can just run ads for your baby apparel broadly, and then the people that have babies will see your ad, click on it, and then you'll know those are the people that have the babies, because then they go on your website, you have their data because you can retarget to them, you have something on your website, Mini-Me, where they can put their information in for 10% off or whatever you want to do. You just need to get started sending traffic to your site, and so I still believe the cheapest way to do that is through Facebook and Instagram ads. You can also use Pinterest as another good one. Yeah, hopefully that answers your question. I don't want to make it too complicated. Oh, okay, we're saying I'm breaking up. I love what you're saying. Chat to okay. No fabric from China Korea. Can you do? Okay. Hopefully, I'm still on this live studio here. Give me a thumbs up if you guys are good on the Facebook side and YouTube side of things. Mostly getting questions through Instagram. Who are the lenders to target once you get sales? I'll give a shout out to a company that I've worked out. They're called Clearbanc, CLEARBANC, I think. Anyways, you have to have, I think, roughly $10,000 a month in recurring sales. And so they actually funded us on a project that we were working on because we got to that pretty quickly. And then they take equity. They just give you the money, and then they take like 6% as you sell the product. So shout out to them. They've been helpful. But there's other lenders. I recommend highly getting a line of credit for your business once you have some cash, or once you have kind of some history, because we have one. You use the money, and then when you don't need it, or like when basically you pay yourself back. So it's only really charging interest while the money is out of the pot. So then once you get the money, you put it back in, you pay off your line, but you still have access to that capital. Businesses need capital. They need cash. And so if you're working with, especially if you're in a wholesale business, cash flow is tight in a wholesale business because people want to pay when they receive a product, but you got to invest all this money to make it. So having a line of credit, you use that money, produce the stuff, send it to them, and then when they send you the money, you pay off your line of credit. All right. Thank you, Donnie Zaster. I appreciate it. Oh, man, I'm getting a lot here. How do we work with Indie? IndieSource.com. Hit us up. We got a full team there ready to rock. We obviously have Instagram and all those channels as well. And Makers Row. We have a Makers Row page too. So find us on Makers Row also. Does IndieSource design custom children's clothing? Yes, we do lots of children's clothing. Lots of kids' clothing. Okay. All right. I think I just finally got through everything. Let's see. Is there anybody else? No fabric from China or Korea. Yes, you can do. Gina Jackson asked, is it possible to source and create USA made so like the material doesn't come from China? Absolutely. There's tons of fabric that's made in Los Angeles, 5 minutes from our office. We work directly with the mills and we can produce custom fabric for you. It takes 4 weeks. You got to make at least 1,000 yards, or a lot of it's just in stock. There's going to be a lot more knit fabric in the United States than woven. Most of the woven fabric comes from China and Korea, but there's definitely some vendors that you can work with. Right now, we're doing PE. We're making masks and gowns that's non-woven material, and working with hospitals and some people that need masks. So yeah, check out our masks on our site. We have different masks for sale. We're doing a buy one, donate one, and have done. I think we're like 14,000 donated. So yeah, that's again just trying to part of the solution here in the U.S. See if there's anybody else. Does Indie? No, we do not. I do not own a dye house. We manage that process. So part of the development process is that we'll dye the thing. So if you're, all right, let's take some real examples. You want to make a hemp organic cotton color that's comfortable, right, for staying at home during COVID. The fabric is in the market, PFD. That means it's prepared for dye, but it's not dyed yet. What we're going to do is once you pick out which fabric you want in the white, then what we're going to do is we're going to take that fabric over to the dye house. We're going to do lab dips, which is testing the color. You're going to approve which color to make sure that we hit the exact color you want. And then once you do that, then we're going to make samples out of that exact fabric, that exact color in the fabric that you picked. So now you got your hemp, organic cotton fabric dyed in 5 different colors. We make your samples. Only once that's totally done, you even go into production. So yeah, we're all about taking it one step at a time. Development first, production after. Should be very, very easy if you do development right. Living in Vegas has opened up better opportunities to be closer to design houses. Yeah, totally. I mean, right now, our kickoff meetings, if you're interested in working with IndieSource, you can speak to one of our brand consultants, go through your specific situation, go through what's happening with you. This is kind of like the theme of the call, or conversation actually, which is like, moving past that stagnant point and not being stuck. So the best way to get unstuck is talk to people that genuinely know exactly what you need to do and will give you a plan. So contact us. I have some of the best people in the industry that you can sit down with, talk to, and actually go through your collection, build a plan for supply chain development, for marketing, all of it. We'll do it in that meeting. So reach out if you're interested in that, and like, let's make it happen, guys. Let's make it happen. Hopefully this was helpful. Hopefully this gave you guys some insight into getting past that initial phase of being stuck, feeling stagnant. Massive action. Get up there, ask people the questions that you don't have the answer to. Focus on the things that you're good at. And yeah, we'll be in touch. Hopefully you guys have a good rest of your day. Stay safe. And again, Zach with IndieSource. Yeah, have a great day, guys. I'll talk to you soon.